let's move on. Let's stay in the quarterback realm. Let's talk about Oregon's quarterback room. Now, I think people are going to be more agreeable with us on this sort of evaluation, saying that Oregon's quarterback room is one of the best in the country is not a hot take at all. It starts with Dylan Gabriel, right? Who you would anticipate being the starter next year. Fantastic job at Oklahoma last year, and fantastic
Oh
job at
yeah.
UCF. I mean, what are we talking about here? Yeah, sure, he didn't. At times, he didn't throw the ball insanely effectively, but the the role that Dylan Gabriel is going to play at Oregon is going to be a very similar role that Bo Nix played at Oregon, and I think it fits really well. They're both not. I mean, Bo Nix is not the. Is he that big of a quarterback size wise?
No, he's bigger than
He's bigger
Gabriel,
than
but he's
Dylan
not
Gabriel,
he's not Will
obviously.
Howard at all.
No, no, not at all. But Dylan Gabriel's got enough of an arm. He's a good enough athlete. He has a ton of experience, just like Bo Nix did heading into that year with Oregon, just as he did. I think he can get that job done there. But it doesn't end. It does not end with Dylan Gabriel there. Dante Moore coming over from UCLA, 5-star recruit from state of Michigan. I was really high on him last year heading into the season, even as a true freshman. And part of the reason that I took UCLA's over last year is because I anticipated him starting and I anticipated him like exceeding, which is a tough ask. How many true freshman quarterbacks go in there and actually excel at a high level? It's tough. And that offensive line he's playing behind was abysmal. It was abysmal. And Oregon's offensive line next year, even with the loss of a couple of those guys, should still be pretty solid. A definite upgrade over UCLA. Not to mention, I mean, uh, we're not going to talk about it today, but one of the best position groups in the country is also that wide receiver room for Oregon. So uh, he's got a lot going for him, and Dante Moore, and then just for kicks, like who knows? Is Austin Novosad going to stay there?
I'm sure people are, and I hate to accuse people of tampering in 2024 of college football, but I'm sure there are a lot of scouting rooms that have circled Austin Novosad as looking in that room like, hey, maybe this is a guy that potentially wants better suited elsewhere, where he's got a more clear path to playing time. But again, yeah, like you said, just throw him in there. Another guy, high 4-star, coming out of high school, a guy that Oregon flipped late in the cycle from Baylor, and which was massive after Dante Moore originally flipped from Oregon to UCLA. They went back and just snagged Austin Novosad just literally like
Casually.
days after, which was incredible. And then obviously now you have both of them on your roster. Incredible. Austin Novosad's a guy out of high school, uber athlete, ran the hurdles and the jumps. And to me, if you're doing that at the quarterback position, to me that's super impressive. Oh yeah, and by the way, he played in Texas 6A football, so that's nice. That's nice to hear too. Over there in Drippens Springs, Texas. So yeah, I love the room. And to me, this is another one, or this is one that I feel like is pretty common knowledge. And what's super impressive is you lose a first round quarterback, a guy who broke the completion percent passing record a year ago, a guy with a bajillion starts in college football, and you just follow that up and revamping your offense and your quarterback room with a guy that's another great fit with Will Stein and Dan Lanning and Dylan Gabriel, and then to not only like secure the short term but the long term future of this room, and that's exactly why they are in this. Because maybe Dylan Gabriel is not the top 3 quarterback in the country, right? If you're doing a fantasy draft and you want to pick quarterbacks who you want, but the fact that you can do that and stack quarterbacks in the same transfer portal class a year after getting another highly rated guy like Austin Novosad is super impressive and has to be very comforting. Like Will Stein sleeps well at night knowing that for the next 3 years, next 2 to 3 years, he has his quarterback position not settled, but looking pretty darn good.
So let me ask you this: would you say the biggest loss is the quarterback position? Like, was Bo Nix the biggest part of that offense last year that they're losing, or is it other spots? Is it
Well, I mean, I know you're setting me up here because you know how much I love Bucky Irving, right? I love Bucky Irving, but you lose a bunch of other pieces as well.
Troy
Jackson
Franklin?
Powers Johnson, Troy Franklin, very elite, high end starters for you last year that are going to be high profile draft picks in this upcoming NFL draft. And obviously, it showed with all the success Oregon had last year. Even though they didn't win or make the playoffs, but they still had a massive year in year two of Dan Lanning. But yeah, I don't want to diminish the loss of Bo Nix. This is going to be a massive loss, but the fact that you could replace him with almost like a lefty, little shorter Bo Nix, and to me,
I'm
that's a
saying.
compliment for Dylan Gabriel and what he can do. And then yeah, and by the way, it's brilliant because instead of taking a quarterback out of high school, right, in this year's class, they just took Dante Moore, which is basically a redshirt sophomore, redshirt freshman to pair with Novosad. So yeah, and it's a guy with you like him. The tools are there. It's a reason why you and many others were so high on him coming out of high school, and he got nice playing time, right? And it wasn't great all the time, but showed flashes, and you just throw him in there. Yeah. Hey, what's the expectation for Dylan Gabriel this year? You think? I mean, obviously, he doesn't have to break the passing record, the passing completion percentage record for it to be a successful year, but he's thrown for 3,500 yards in most of his years in college. Do you expect the same here in Oregon?
Yes, I do. I do. Now, this was a top five offense last year. Will it be top five offense? I don't know. That there's going to be a strength of schedule difference playing those defenses in the Big Ten. We'll see how he goes, right? We'll see how he handles that, obviously. But the reality is, too, like when I'm looking at teams, like when I want to bet over on win totals, too, it's like if I feel good about them and they have a good set of backup quarterbacks, if that starting quarterback gets hurt, you just feel that much better about it. This quarterback room is very, very good. It's very, very good.